Good morning. So it's about 5 o'clock in the morning, 28th of December it should be, I think. I don't know if you can hear it, but the storm is still going. So I did an update last night. Sorry, I'll tell you what happened. So I once more showed my intense genius by choosing a drop sheet to protect against the weather based on its colour more than its utility. So I'd found one that matched the little golden stripes on my uniform, and rather than a good solid tarp, it was like a birthday tablecloth, yeah. So it had been compromised. It had all these little micro rips in it from like rubbing against trees and whatnot. So I'd set up and it just didn't resist the weather. So I'm in a little industrial area and I was behind a line of scrub, set the hammock up on a couple of trees, had the drop sheet over that because some weather was coming in, and it resisted it okay for a while, but then leaks started. And you know, it's sort of like you're sleeping and a little bit of water leaks in down your back and then gets worse. And I didn't expect that high summer cold would be a problem, but I got a bit bloody cold last night. So I chose it based on, so there's this behind me, I don't know if you can see, there's this sort of a row of like industrial buildings, and this is a little smoko shed that was near the place that I chose to sleep. So it was sort of my plan B, just in case the weather intensified and I couldn't resist it, and I'm glad I did it. So I had to retreat here at about 11:30 and set up. So under here, let's see if you can. So the smoko shed has these at the top metal beams, so I was able to attach the hammock to that and have a little snooze there, and I've got my gear drying underneath. But yeah, the rain's still coming on in. So, what is the goal for today, my friend? Well, I think I'm just gonna, I'll put on my wet gear, Captain Australia. It's dried out a bit, and stick to plan, head through the Gold Coast. I don't see much point in waiting. It'll be like this all day, I think, choppy weather. I need to buy tarp at some point, so hopefully I'll find a place in the Gold Coast where I can do that. I think I might even need to buy a ultra lightweight blanket, because that would have been helpful last night. I actually got really kind of old man shaking cold. Oh, what have I done? Oh, I've upset it. Facebook didn't like the shaky camera there. Sorry. And we got a comment. Good morning. Yeah, yeah. G'day. How you doing? So it's 5 a.m. If I hit the road now, I'll hit the middle of the coast, sort of mid-morning, and I think there has to be somewhere where I can buy a tarp. Issue number 2, which I probably should report, is so to save weight, I dropped off a bunch of. I got my boots here hanging on the thing drying. I had to dump off. I was carrying 4 uniforms. I had to dump off 2 of them, as some other stuff to save weight on the pack. I can walk a lot faster now. I can sustain the walking a lot better now. So that problem's solved with only 2 uniforms. When I put the backup on last night, oh my god, it did not smell good. So that becomes an issue when I have to go do some commerce, you know. Go into a shop and buy some food or something when I'm a little bit stinky, and I know that's not a that's not a very pleasant thing to discuss, my foul smell, but I need to find a solution to that too. Captain Australia's big laundromat, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it's a bit of a grim old day, but not too bad. Walking in the weather isn't a problem, but sleeping in it was. Oh, sorry, the camera's gone a little bit mental, so to me, I look as if that's probably up for you, but on the camera, that's left. So I'm Spider-Man or something, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, so I'm going to put on the blue and high-vis uniform, so I'm going to do a bit of a dead sexy strip here in this little smoko shed. Oh, the people who come here for their cigarettes, if they only knew, if they only knew. And then, yeah, I'll pack the gear up, hit the road, and when I get down to the coast, well, I'm at the coast, but when I get down to the middle somewhere, I've got a little bit of shopping to do. And, yeah, the plan, which I think I'm pretty confident that we can execute on, is to be in New South Wales tonight. So, yeah, I think this is, you know, this is where it really starts to get going. So thank you so much for your kindness and support. Let me take a quick look if anybody's had any questions or anything. No? Cool. It's too early in the morning for questions. I wouldn't mind getting around a hot cup of coffee, actually. I had to put on slightly wet clothes, and I feel like my core body temperature is lower than it needs to be. So, yeah, maybe a hot breakfast or something. But yeah, it's 28th of... Is it the 28th? See, I'm behind schedule. Yeah, so it is the morning of the 28th of December. It's Captain Australia's Big Walk. I am on a mad quest. What is the quest for? It all started with personal healing. So I walked as a child to escape a bad situation, and I couldn't bounce back after my fight with stage 4 cancer. I had a 6 months to live dealio, and I just couldn't come back. I was wrecked by it. Just existential crisis is the only way I could sort of explain it. And I just remembered, wow, what about when you were 15 and you just hit the road? Maybe you should do that again. Figure it out, make peace with it, you know, be under the sky and be near the ocean, and just daily effort and stripping life back to that basic pilgrimage of walking. And that was how it started. And then I realised I could superhero up, I could do it theatrically, and we could try and help this very important charity at the Kids Cancer Project. So it's 950 Aussie kids every year diagnosed, which is, you know, 20% of children diagnosed do not survive the initial treatment phase. So that's 3 kids a week dropping, dead, 3 kids every week. So in this period between, you know, my birthday, when I started the big walk, and wherever I'm going to be on New Year's Eve, something like 3 children will have died of pediatric cancer. So, you know, and people affected, they send me pictures of their children, and I love that, and thank you. But it brings into crystal focus for me the real reason that I'm doing this now. Because as soon as I decided to do a big walk, I started healing anyway. Because healing is about hope. It's about believing that positive change can be affected in your life. You do the work, it can work out. Because as simple as that sounds, a lot of people don't have it. They don't understand it in their bones. That hope, just that simple hope that your life can get better exists. Because suffering tends to be like a cycle. And maybe we think we deserve it, I don't know, or we learn the patterns of it and do it over and over again. But a mistake becomes a lesson if you stop doing it, yeah? So, yeah, anyway, sorry. I, you know, see these pictures of these kids, and that brings it, so now that's what it's all about for me, really. It's like a Don Quixote kind of thing. I tipping my lance at a windmill and off I go. So someone suggested this is me trying to punch back at cancer, you know, deprive it of innocent little victims, and maybe there's a touch of that, I don't know. But yeah, it all started with personal healing and it ends with helping the children. But there's also in this process of discovery, there's this idea that I might be able to help you or somebody in your life who just needs to hear about hope, just needs to see a concrete example of it. So I'm just this old guy, this strange old dude, right? But I found it and I breathed life into it, and it's just like this concrete example that a broken life can be fixed, and that in itself is hopeful, you know. So you might have a family member who has been struggling with addiction or something, you know, whatever it is, that they're in that cycle, they're in that dark cage. And you know, you when you're in a cage, you like try to escape, and you think, oh yeah, I got my arm out, and you make these iterative efforts every so often, and you have these little successes. But for me, the key to the cage, just to unlock it and walk right out, spontaneous remission, is hope. It's knowing that you can really make permanent, meaningful change. And I guess that's the big third part of the mission, you know? It's giving that story, I guess, to the world, good, bad, or indifferent. I don't have any illusions about who I am or what I'm about. I don't think this is about me. It's about we, you know? So I'm the conversation starter, you know? Look at that old fool dressed as a superhero. What's wrong with him? Oh, but hey, hang on. Look, he came back to life. How'd he do that? You know? And that, it's that, if that helps one person, and it starts that ripple effect, I adore that. And that nourishes and heals me in a way that I didn't expect was available to me. So hope is like this circle that we create together. And it, you know, you share it, it amplifies it, and then it comes back to you. And so there's a comment, let me have a look. I'm tilting my head sideways because the phone's gone mental. Simon, can you do a shout out to my multiple myeloma warrior? Oh, mum, yeah, oh, shit. Oh, jeez, I'm so sorry. Ah, you lost your mum. Does it say her name? Seymour. Sorry, I'm reading upside down and sideways. So Charlie and Sophie love their nonna. Yeah, so you kids. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting better, or I hope I'm getting better at reading and talking about the comments that come up. So yeah, I'm so sorry that you lost your mum. Cancer is, you know, who doesn't know somebody touched by cancer? You know, and my story, like, so I had 6 months to live. The chemo radiation, it was a 40 to 60% shot. They couldn't pin it down any better than that. But I had total metabolic response. So I'm cancer free. I'm not side effect free. I'm not, the treatments, they inflict something on you. And that's with the kids' cancer, the idea that the 80% that do respond to treatment, they have to deal with that, you know, and their families do. And you know, everybody knows somebody who's been touched by it, and they've suffered this horrible loss, and you lost your mum. I'm so sorry. And your kids lost their nonna. My grandma, I adored my grandmother. So I come from trauma, really. I don't know, I don't mean to overstate it. It's just, yeah, the hopelessness of it, I think, was the most traumatic thing. But it's just the addiction in the family, single parent. Dad split when I was very little. And yeah, my grandmother, that's who I went to live with when I walked from Brisbane to Sydney as a child. And to lose that source of love and wisdom, you know, to your kids as well. I'm so sorry. Yeah, and you know, I'm sorry, cancer's a shit show. It just is. There's no, you know, for me, my own cancer, I don't know, it probably shows you how mental I am, because for me it invoked this kind of gallows humor at first, you know. When I was broken and trying to find my way back and couldn't, it was a different deal. But at first I leaned hard into treatment, you know, all of the radiation treatments and chemo and all of that stuff. I was aggressive, and I knew it was my only chance, and my goal was to be there with my children. And that's probably where I messed up. Like, yes, of course, and they're the light of my life. I need to be here for my children, but I think most parents understand at some point that you live for yourself. You be the best and happiest you that you can be, and that lightens the life of your children. If you're just living for your kids, you're alive, you're not living. You're like a janitor helping them to live. And that's, I think, what I became. So I forgot, you know, about personal happiness and growth. But yeah, I'm sorry, Nonna. They lost their Nonna, you lost your mum. I'm so sorry about that. And yeah, my kids, they're wonderful. And I when I was fighting, that was it. I was really strong. Why? Because I have 3 lovely little boys. The youngest, when I was diagnosed, was 3 years old. You know, little toddler. I took him to kindy. His first day at mini kindy. He's like, "Hey, I'm a kindy boy. Hooray!"
Kindy hooray?
Hooray!
Say, I'm a kindy boy.
I'm a kindy boy.
That's it. Good.
I look at these videos and I burst into tears. You know, it's just looking back. He's a wonderful kid, and but because of that, the later side effects of cancer crept up on me. But in treatment, I was like, oh, I'm tough. So I knew, okay, if I had 60% chance to beat the cancer, I'd be sitting in a waiting room and I'd be surrounded by other affected people, like you know, like Nonna, who's gone. I didn't see her name in the comment, but you know, like she might have been in the room with me, and there would be 50 other people in the public hospital waiting for their treatment. And I'd look around, and in my mind I'd be, okay, there's 50 people in this room. Okay, so I need to be then in the 30 on this side of the room that are going to survive. So I'd move and I'd sit down next to the healthier looking ones, and I'd look around, okay, they're about 106. I'm sorry, and your life is precious, but one of us has to go, so that's you. And it's like this weird, I don't know, it's not funny, it's morbid, but it was like this idea that it turned the disease into these concrete people. So if I had a 60% chance to survive, that means of the 100 or 50 people in the room or whatever, 40% of them had to go. So in my mind, I'm like triaging that, and it's like, okay, you've already had a leg amputated from diabetes, you're very, very old, I'm sorry, I have children, okay, I'm in, you got to go. And when as soon as you see concrete people and you relate that to the suffering and train wreck mess that is cancer, yeah, I don't know. What the hell am I saying? I don't know. But it's a flight or fight kind of survival response at first, and you get stuck in there. And if you're dealing with cancer, don't forget your own humanity and your own happiness. You see, this applies whether you've got cancer or not. You know, you're still alive. You know, you, me, we're all still alive. We're viable human beings. You know, we can do something insane and joyful. I'm gonna suit up and go toddling out into this mess, yeah? Why? That doesn't matter. You know, what matters is leaning into your cure, not your disease. Not being defined by the darkness that tries to define your life. You know? But navigating towards the other stuff, the light. You know, the kindness and sweetness and decency that you can find in your life. And how do you find that? Start giving it to other people, I think. So yeah, the Buddhists, they say kindness is the antidote to suffering. I didn't know that, but I do now. So I needed to get past my cancer and move forward, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. And I was trying and failing and trying and failing. But then I just had that hope moment where I realized hope was the missing ingredient. I remembered the big walk as a child, realized I needed to do that again. And I realized I should try and help a charity, the Kids Cancer Project, yeah? And I think that unlocked the rest of it. The idea of being of service, you know, and I would see these people and hear their stories affected by cancer, and it's a privilege and a sad thing to meet some of these people, because like they're children. But being of service and helping them, you know, the idea that I could tangibly do something, that unlocked the rest of it. Yep. kindness, the antidote to suffering. So I, you know, the Captain Australia's Big Walk, why is it a thing, you know? Why don't I just go and, ignoring my personal healing dimension to it, I don't know, get a job as a male stripper somewhere and just provide all that income as a donation? Well, firstly, whatever's achieved in the outcome, I'm unlikely to be able to earn that by myself. But the beauty of this, I don't work for the charity. So charities have their organisations, you know. I think it's something like 18% of money's donated to any charity. This is any charity on average. Some are leaner and more effective than others operationally with how they use their money to run the organisational part of it, and some are less. So there may be charities out there where 50% of your donation goes to the structures that keep the charity working, as opposed to the people the charity helps. You know, I mean, indirectly they still benefit in awareness and all of that. But the beauty of this is, I don't work for the charity. It's not costing them a red cent. So every dollar raised, for the rest of my life, I can look back and say, you know, but for me going on my crazy big walk, that wouldn't have happened, you know. And so it bypasses that normal how does fundraising work stuff. And yeah, so it's every dollar goes directly into the science behind pediatric research. So that is lovely. Oh crap, I just realized I got a people sometimes come up to me on the side of the road, and it's wonderful, and I love talking to you and I love meeting you, but I'm an old fogey. I've got a couple of donations, just like anonymous roadside donations from yesterday afternoon that I haven't processed it, so I'll do that before I move on. But yeah, look, sorry, I tend to go on these long rambles. So this weather, it's not going to relent. I don't know if you can hear it or tell. It's not that severe at the moment. I just call it a middling sort of a good rain. Last night it turned into a full-on storm. The main thing was just having a dry and not cold place to sleep. So I need to solve that going forward, and all I really need is a tarp at the end of the day. So I'll try and hook up with that, and otherwise I'm going to get walking. So the plan for today, Captain Australia, what are you doing today? Rambling for half an hour. That's what I'm doing today. No, the plan is I'm going to walk to Paradise Point. That's about 12k from where I am now, I think. I'm on a place called Hope Island. I'm going to wear my high visibility version of the uniform. I don't know if you can see that okay. So that's got these high vis stripes on it. The stripes down the tummy, they reflect as well. And it's been treated, the fabric has been cured, so it resists water a little bit better than normal fabric. So I'll chuck that one on, and I'll go get some breakfast at some point. Warm food would be good, or a hot coffee, because I just feel a bit cold inside. And yeah, I'll head from Hope Island through to Paradise Point, then down through Southport, Broadbeach, down towards Tweed Heads and the New South Wales border. So the goal, I think that's about 50k all told, the way I'm going to loop around and do it. So I'd like to just get that done today. After lightening my backpack, I overpacked. I brought things that I just didn't need to bring. But after lightening it, I'm pretty good, capable of reasonable walking pace. So, you know, touch wood, New South Wales border tonight, and somewhere in between I want to buy a big old tarp. So maybe there's me meeting a tall, handsome Bunnings in the near future. Yeah, I don't know, there might be like a boating, camping, fishing or something. So I'll have to keep my eye open for that. And otherwise, I need to keep reminding myself to do a better job of one of the best things that is becoming available in these walks are the people that I meet and sharing in that. So there's always some characters, and I'm not doing a great job of like just setting up a stream and sharing the people. So I will get better. This is day 3 of what's going to be something like 70. I mean, in best case, with some aggressive walking, it's going to be a couple of months. So I will get better at sharing the people, I think, because that's Australia. You know, there's some of these weirdos that I'm bumping into. They're lovely. Yesterday, this dude, he was like it was made from 4 pit bulls stapled together. This guy was a massive unit, but full of life. Everything was like cranked up to 120% with him. The volume, the joyfulness, everything. Sorry, the camera's all weird angle, tilted sideways for me at the moment, so it's hard to read comments. But yeah, I'm the person who's lost their family member to cancer. I'm so sorry. For my part, I can't even really give you concrete advice. If you've got cancer, I can talk to you about not letting it control your life. Because cancer's not like being hit by a bus. You know, you're hit by a bus, you die or survive. You go to hospital, you go to rehab, you overcome your injuries, you move forward with your life. Even if you have some long-term problems with your injuries, you wind them into your life and you move forward. But you don't spend every day, you know, sort of, you walk up to the side of the road and think, oh no, will the bus get me today? You know, it's not like the bus is the shark from the Jaws movies or whatever, and it's a predator that's always out there, but you can't quite see it. But cancer's like that. If it doesn't kill you, it gets really mean and angry, and it tries to destroy all of the fine things in your life. So I can talk about trying to overcome that, and there's just little insights that apply whether you have cancer or not. You don't know how many days you have left, and it's incumbent on you to decide how you want to use them. And if you don't know how, I mean, at the minimum, have a little fun, have a little joy. You know, make choices in your life that take you towards personal happiness, and ideally take the people that you care about with you. But yeah, when you've lost somebody, overcoming the grief of loss, I don't have much experience in that. You know, I lost my grandmother. After I went down to live with her, 2 years later, she got cancer of the bladder and died. And she was probably she's like a mother for me, you know. I adored her. Her name was Judith, lovely woman. And yeah, I don't know, that knocked me for a couple of years. That was my first young experience with grief. But subsequently, I haven't had a lot of experiences with grief, and I couldn't give you any good advice. I can only tell you I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm going to suit up, get some coffee into me, and start walking for the border. And yeah, I'll do a stream or something. I had these little plastic baggies. So if you're an El Cheapo like me, and you want your phone to resist weather, you pop it in a little sandwich bag. And I'm sure I had like a half dozen of them, but I might have accidentally given them to my mate who helped me lighten my pack. So I could, if I were in them, you know, walking along and I had something to show you, I could turn on I could take a photo or do a stream or whatever, but I don't want to damage the phone. It's meant to resist water a little bit, but not this stuff that's going on out there. So I'll have to remind myself as well, if I can come to a Coles, I've got to pop in and buy some sandwich bags. So yeah, I'll leave it there. I'm sorry, I tend to ramble on and on and on, and one topic accidentally morphs into another. So yeah, I already showed you the gear, didn't I? You can kind of see it behind me, the way we're set up. That's where I slept last night. So very visible, but no problems. Technically, I think I'm a criminal. You know, some people look at Captain Australia and they think that I'm Batman. No, if anything, I'd fight evil, not crime. You know, I think I'm a criminal myself in that I'm probably trespassing at the moment. Yeah. Our nation, we don't want to legislate against homelessness. We want to help with homelessness. So sleeping rough in itself isn't a crime, but if you do it on someone's property, that can concern and bother them, and they might think you're going to steal something or damage something or make a mess. So I'm going to take all of my bits and bobs and leave the place as pristine as when I found it, and move on. But yeah, I'll need for tonight to find a tarp or something. Otherwise, if there's more weather, I'm a bit rooted. Thanks, Simon. You are doing good for a lot of people. Well, I'm incredibly touched by the idea that even one person, that if I could reach out and just take that one person who is, you know, adrift and broken as I was, and just help usher them towards the light. I'd be delighted. It makes everything worthwhile. And the Jewish Bible, I think it's called the Talmud. I'm not sure if I say it right, but it's got this quote in there that I've always quite loved, and it's, "Save but one life, and you save the world entire." And for me, that's about the ripple effect of kindness. You know, the person that you help might somehow save the life of the little boy who grows up to cure cancer or whatever, you know. So a good deed, it's like throwing a stone into a pond, and it has that ripple effect, yeah. So the idea of even just this being helpful to one person is absolutely enough for me. So thank you, all the kindness that's coming back. I'm delighted by it. I appreciate it, I respect it, and I want to recognize it. I'm sorry I'm not doing great with the comments. I was laying in this hammock at 1 o'clock last night going, oh, I love that comment, I care about that comment, I like that comment, and trying to like make remarks where I felt it was, you know, needed or invited, but I'm not doing the best job. I haven't found my groove yet, you know, that routine. But you don't have a routine adventure, Simon, so, you know, I'll work it all out. But if you've said something to me and I haven't responded to you, I'm sorry, that's me, that's not you. I'm not doing a good job just yet, but I'll get there. So thank you very much for your time, your interest. It's Captain Australia's Big Walk. It's odd, but for all the oddness, I think it's a good thing, and it's about serving a very important charity. At the end of the day, the fundamental of it is it's about these 950 children every year affected by pediatric cancer. 950 every year, and that's just Australia. So that's the numbers just for Australia. Those are Aussie kids. They're our kids. 950 every year, and the numbers are roughly that 20% don't survive initial treatment, and the 80% that do are affected by chronic health problems. And when you're old, those chronic health problems, what's that? Well, maybe 20 years if you're super lucky, you know. But when you're a child, well, what if you live to 75? So that's 70 years of well, I mean, there's this relentless psychological attack of cancer, but then there's all the physical side effects. You know, I still have daily pain. I don't talk about it because I've wound it into who I am, and I don't need to. It's fine. But I get these weird neck cramps and stuff from the radiation treatment, and you know, I've got a little nest of problems from my own little tussle with cancer. But yeah, no child should have to go through that garbage. It's a mess. So 950 kids every year diagnosed, 20% don't survive, so that translates to 3 a week dying. So those are the numbers of it. That's the charity of it, and it's a wonderful, worthy cause. And if anybody watching this now or in the future wants to contribute to that cause, the donations, the link has Raisley, Captain Australia's Big Walk or something in it. So it's a page set up by the charity. They handle it. The payments all flow straight through to the Kids Cancer Project, and it goes directly into the science behind solving the issue. And we have a comment. Sorry, I'm tilting my head sideways because the phone has become confused. You're doing a good job and helping people in ways you wouldn't believe. Hope the weather is kind to you. Big hugs. Well, a big hug straight back to you, Shirley. Cheers, mate. I'm very grateful for your kindness. I don't think the weather's going to be kind today, but I mean, that's all perspective, isn't it? We don't grow without suffering, you know. You don't get stronger without adversity. You know, that's why all these guys go to the gym, and ladies, sorry, I got to figure out, I'm an old dude too, so there's all this gendered language. I'm just not, I'm not good at it, and I'm not up to it. So if ever, and sorry, 100%, if I ever say something or fail to say something that hurts your feelings somehow, tell me about it and teach me, please. I'm sorry, you know. It's not my intention. I don't want to exclude. I don't want to omit. I don't want to do the wrong thing or a hurtful thing. But I'm just an old fool, and I inevitably will. So I'm sorry. But yeah, you know, they go to the gym, getting all buff, and that's doing micro damage to your muscles to make them bigger and stronger. So next time you can lift more weight, or you know, save the person from the car crash, rip the door off. You know, you get stronger through pain. And yeah, so a little bit of weather's not going to kill me. You know, the big risks of the big walk are, yeah, the weather's part of it, and that's mainly like if I'm walking down the side of a road, visibility thing, because human beings are one of the big risks. For the most part, you, me, we're lovely. We got it. We're good. But you know, you do get the odd yobbo as well. So when you're sleeping rough, and this is the parallel to homelessness. Like if I got a taste of just how hard that can be last night, you know, like trying to sleep, water running down my back and all of that. Pretty train wrecky. But yeah, you know, people interfering with you, trying to take your thing because they want it, that sort of stuff. Then you got snakes, you know, the danger noodles, spiders. As I get further south, that becomes more of a reality too. Apparently we have funnel web spiders in Queensland. I didn't know that. I've lived all over. Sydney has its own type of funnel web spider, you know. So but I think because it's a bit hotter up here, they're profoundly less common. But yeah, you know, we've got some pretty deadly spiders, and you know, when you pitch camp, you've got to look inside your boot and stuff when you get up in the morning. So snakes, spiders, people, you know, ticks, that sort of thing. Those are the hazards, I guess. And you know, I don't think in life you should define your choices by the reasons not to do something. You should lean into the reasons why to do it. And I'm resolute. I've got some really, I think, important and wonderful reasons why to do it. And the last, like, sorry, I miss my kids something fierce. Like, the last, like, my children are perhaps one of the most profound reasons for why I'm doing this as well. Not just to show them, because I was underperforming as a dad when I was sick and when I was getting over my sickness. And I became really fat too, like the thyroid damage from the radiation. I piled on weight, like 50 kilos, 60 kilos I gained over a period of 4 years. And I felt ashamed. So the idea of making them proud is a little part of it, but it's actually just leaving for them a story, ideally a joyful story, that tells them who their dad was, what I thought and felt, and ideally how I interface with the world, like what I believe about the world, like about you. I think you are probably lovely, you know, and people generally are. And if we're not, it's because life's inflicted something on us, but it's in us. And there's those little bits of who I am that, like if cancer ever came back for me, I leave for my boys. You know, so that's a part of it as well. You know, so when I'm walking around like I'm telling this big, absurd, funny, adventurous sort of story, they're in my heart as one of the big reasons why I'm doing that. But you're in there as well. Anyway, sorry, old fool. Ramble, stop rambling, Simon. I got to be a bit disciplined, I think. I don't want to bore people to tears. I'm going to get changed and start walking. I think it's about 5:30 now, I guess. So I'll check in later, let you know where I'm at, probably as I get to see the ocean. When I get to the ocean, I'll give you a little bit of I'm Captain Australia and I'm at the ocean later on. So all the best, take care of yourselves, and have a lovely day. And if you're out walking around in the weather, be careful, keep an eye on cars, you know. I think people just don't brake as early as they should in wet weather. So, you know, look after yourself, be careful, and all the best. G'day, this is Captain Australia. I might still be on Hope Island, but I'm on the way to Paradise Point and I have a story to tell and share with you, yeah? So I'm walking along, these people pull over. I'd met them previously in a practice walk. I was walking through I was trying to get into a storm in the Gold Coast to test my equipment in the weather. I should have done a better job with that. But these people pulled over and they were just lovely and kind. They'd been to Coles or something, so they had water, Coke, and they gave me fluids, and I was delighted, and they donated to the charity, and they're just salt of the earth people. But I'm walking along today and I get to meet them again, and it's lovely. But you know what they've done? I'll tell you and I'll share them with you, okay? So this is, I've got to get better at all of this camera work fiddly stuff. So this is my mate Murray and Donna, okay?
Hi.
Now, I needed to pick up a tarp for better weather sleeping and a blanket to be able to sleep a bit warm because I was shivering last night. They pulled up on the side of the road and they have both, and it is absolutely perfect. Check this out. Let me give you a quick look. So it's just ideal. It's all stowed away, lightweight, exactly what I needed, and they've shown me this tremendous kindness. But the thing that really, I lose my words and get a little bit. So Murray lost his mother to cancer, to brain cancer. The blanket that he's given me was her blanket. Okay, so I have the honour of carrying that with me when I do this quest against a disease that we're all touched by it. None of us should be. You know what I mean? But I want to really thank you so much for your kindness.
You're doing awesome.
I got no words. I'm just a buffet. I wish I were that guy, you know, who could say the right thing at the right time in the right way. But I want you to understand, I'm really touched by what you've done today. I am absolutely touched. And if it's cool, can I give you a bit of a hug? Is that all right?
Yeah.
Murray, I'm so sorry about your mum.
That's all right, mate.
And thank you so much
Shall we
for
move
your
on your
kindness.
journey?
And Donna,
Yes, thank you.
you bloody lovely people. I'm sorry, I stink too.
Don't worry about
They're going to smell awful for days. And sorry, I'm here at the mobile, 7-Eleven mobile, and how do you have Mahir? Mihal. This is my mate Mihal. He gave me some free deodorant, free bananas, and a free coffee. I mean, I am absolutely good to go. And the wave of kindness, I need you to see that. To see that people that you walk by in your day-to-day life, just not even noticing, they have in them such beauty and kindness to give. Now, I'm just like a superhero, I'm doing this crazy thing, but I'm just a human being like you, and we can do that. We don't need any of this gear every day for each other. So that's what this is all about, and thank you so much for your kindness too, brother. I am so touched, man.
Be proud of you, right? Doing something good for someone, this is good, right? Yeah.
I lose my words, I don't have the words. Murray, Donna, Mihal, A's in my E's, I'm best of my, and I have to say someone's name 3 times before I remember it because of my age and chemotherapy, yeah. So, Mihal, have I got it? I got it. Hey, yay, Captain Australia. Absolute joy,
Nice
mate.
to meet you,
Thank you.
and best of luck with your journey.
Thank you so much, Mihal. Thank you, Donna. Thank you so
Nice.
much. I'm going to continue for the ocean. We're going to see the ocean in 2 hours maybe. My pace is by the way, my pace is way back up now. So with the bag situation solved, I'm good to go. We're going to get to the New South Wales border tonight. So I'll leave it there. Thanks so much. All the best. And sorry, and thank you guys for letting me tell everybody about this.
That's okay, that's okay.
G'day, this is Captain Australia. I don't think I'm going to be able to see any comments. It's very, very windy, in case you can't tell. I can see the banner flapping away in the background. So for me, that's been great fun, walking around with that thing. But it's my day for looking like a fool, really, because like some points the wind has been so heavy that it's immobilised me. Like I literally tried to doing that, and people beep, and I wave, and they beep more, and I wave. Some of them might be beeping to Grandma, who they've come to pick up, but I wave anyway, just in case they're beeping at me. I'd rather look the fool than, you know, be mean or not acknowledge someone. So, I'm walking along, someone beeps, I wave, and me barefoot, I steps directly in dog shit. So, I don't know if the universe is on my side or it's conspiring against me. It's trying to steal my boot away. I don't know. I'm in a delighted, happy mood. I feel as if now, as you'll see the Gold Coast in the background, and now as I move towards the border, I think my quest has begun in earnest. Yeah. So everything that happens now, the good, the bad, and the indifferent, the fun, the boring, the insightful, whatever happens, it's just part of that. I don't know, the best word I have for it is pilgrimage, you know, I'm on a pilgrimage, it's a quest. I get that probably makes me look, you know, crazy, but I feel in my heart that I am on a quest. So yeah. The coast is over there, we're near Southbourne at the moment, so I reckon it's like 15k from here or something like it, and I think I've come about 20k since this morning, and the border will be another 10 or 15 beyond that, so pretty confident I'll make it tonight. Oh, there's a comment. I said I wouldn't be able to respond to comments, but let's take a look, because it's a bit breezy and I've got my glasses on. Let's have a look, scroll. Old dog can learn new tricks. I know now to scroll back and look at comments, but I don't have my glasses. Amazing. It's blurry, blurry, keep going, blurry, womanizing, blurry, so many ways. Amazing. Okay. Oh, thank you. I don't know about the womanizing, but I think it's amazing. I didn't bring my spectacles. What kind of an old man packs everything, the kitchen sink, with my glasses? So yeah, the Broad Beach is the next stop, and I reckon I should. Oh, I'm sorry, that's someone's name. Sorry, I thought that was a message. Hello. Yeah, I reckon, and it's like 3 hours, and I'll be at Broad Beach. I think I'll have dinner there, and then I'll press for Tweed Heads and the New South Wales border, and I'll pitch a camp somewhere there. The camping side of things is an exercise in itself. So last night I did a stream of what happened, but I set up behind these industrial buildings. Can you hear me okay? I've got these headphones in. They're supposed to be pretty good at getting rid of the ambient sound, but this wind is on. I hope you can hear me okay. So there's this industrial complex, and behind it there's this row of scrub trees, and behind that there's this row of slightly larger trees that was viable to put a hammock up. So I set up there, and it was all good until just about midnight. This full-on torrential storm hit, and the cover that I had protecting me from the weather hadn't been tested against something like that. And idiot that I am, I chose it for its colour. So it was coloured like these little kangaroos here. Yeah. So instead of utility, I chose it for colour. It was a tablecloth, like a, you know, for a kid's birthday party. So it was big enough, and it would defeat water, but not that kind of water. And it had little scratches and stuff from me walking. So water started to come through. I was shivering. It was terrible. But I had a little backup location, so I just grabbed everything, packed it up, and set up in it's like a smoko area for the factory workers to go into. So I set up in there, dried everything off, and it was fine. But it gave me this real sympathy for people who sleep rough, not because it's their choice, but because life has sort of inflicted that on them. So they might have a problem that they can't overcome, just as I did with my cancer and the existential crisis after it. Or it might just be like tough luck. You know, they might have been propelled into homelessness by COVID. The COVID border closures killed my travel insurance business. I understand how that could happen. You know, and when you're shivering and cold and you don't have a warm home to go to, I do, and I have my
stuff has been going past and I've missed it all. I'm sorry. My joy for the medical verse is walking in the wind. There's a haiku in there somewhere, I reckon. But that is almost precisely what I set out for initially when I thought about taking a big walk. It was about the sea view. The ocean is so nourishing, I think. My brother-in-law is recovering from cancer. Yeah, it's cancer is a insidious thing too. You become cancer invisible because people don't know what to say to you. Don't let that happen with someone you love who has cancer. If you care about them, even if it's awkward, tackle it. But if they say they want to be alone or they don't want to talk about it, respect that immediately. Don't be overly clingy. They're the sick one, they're fighting for their lives, so just kind of try and come to them and establish what it is they need, and that might be space, or it might be, being as loving as you can. It could be something in between. What happens is when you have cancer, people start acting weird because they don't know what to say, so it makes you feel more isolated and alone. So with your bro, I'm so sorry your bro's sick, mate, but my advice is get a feel on what he needs and try and give it to him, and be aware that the mental health stuff, you beat the cancer, okay, you overcome it, great, good job, and it's easy for you and the people you care about to think it's over, it's done, good on you, and it's not. So cancer's a psychological disease as much as a physical one. You're hit by a car, you overcome it, you get better, you go on with your life, you're not terrified of crossing the road really, or maybe a little more cautious. But once you get cancer, you're worried it's always going to come back. Every cough, I get these facial cramps sometimes from the radiation scarring, and when I do, you get these little lumps of lymphatic fluid, and you have to kind of help massage them down your neck, and you think, oh God, is that, every little lump, every little cough, is it cancer again? I've overcome that. It's crazy, I can't believe it, but I'm good, and it's not that I don't care. I've found it in my life, I've reconciled the truth of it. So I'm not going to let my disease define me, I'm going to lean into my cure. Thanks for reminding me about him, his mental health. Yeah, so the thing is, once someone's beaten cancer too, and it is still inflicting this relentless attack on them, what happens is another pulling away. So the people in their lives will start to get bored with cancer, just as the person who has the disease is. Go out, see a movie, have some fun. But when you've got cancer and you're under this relentless psychological attack, you don't remember to do that. So when you sit down with your friends, oh, how are you? Oh, I've been having this side effect and that side effect, and you're like, oh, yeah, oh, look, I'm so sympathetic and I care, but oh, come on, again. And 2 years later, they're still talking about it. And they need to have that place, but you can steer it to somewhere fun. But what can happen is you can just avoid the person a little bit. You can feel like they're making your world a little bit bleaker because their inner world has become so bleak. So I can't tell you exactly how to overcome that, because part of it's on the patient, the person dealing with the cancer. They have to have this moment, this realization that their disease is casting a larger shadow than it merits, but the people, the society around them, the people they care about, especially the middling ones, like friends who are much liked but not loved, they pull away because it becomes just, they think the cancer's done with, they don't want to talk about it anymore, and they might even go so far as to say, look man, it was 2 years ago, why are you still going on about it? Which just further disenfranchises and isolates the person dealing with it. that's a mess. I don't know if he's a younger or an older person, and I don't know that particularly matters. But it is a shit show. There's no two ways about it. And I may have come to terms with mine even before the big walk, which is about coming to terms with mine. But yeah, you know, it's tough, and I think somebody even 10 years later can still carry that. It's like a cloud on the horizon, you know, like a storm. You know, or like an alcoholic who's 20 years sober, but when they walk past a bar and they feel that little tug. But cancer is a tug towards despair and hopelessness. And yes, Sue, it is definitely a shit show. But yes, shit, speaking of shit, I stepped barefoot in dog shit today. So the universe is conspiring against Captain Australia, I think. So, you know, I walk along with my flag, all that, and I'm barefoot because I want to, like, set them piggies free, let the toes breathe. People keep beeping, so I keep waving. Yeah, g'day. Oh, thanks. Oh, g'day. You know, big old smile. Thank you, thank you. And the waves of support and kindness, I mean, I don't have the words. It's humbling. And there's a particular couple, Murray and Debbie, that I met today. I shared them in an earlier stream. If you haven't seen it, check it out. What wonderful people. You know, wonderful, wonderful people. But yeah, so I'm trying to respect, appreciate and show gratitude for all of the support. So every time there's a beat, there's a wave. But I'm walking along barefoot, letting my feet breathe after the soggy socks and all of that. And I stepped firmly in a bit of dog shit. And actually it was made by a large and healthy dog, I reckon. So someone out there has like a Doberman or a pit bull or something. Anyway, and you know what? Still, I'm fine. I actually personally don't think we need to be following our dogs with baggies and picking up their poop. I would rather pay the price of stepping in the poop than have us reduced to a society where we walk around carrying bags of poop. But that is what it is. I think some people want to say g'day. Do you mind saying g'day to the world? Sorry, I'm in the middle of a live stream here. This is a lovely family. I'm Captain Australia. You see the flag? It's Captain Australia's TV. Pleasure. Sorry, I'm not being polite. I'll stand up. Oh, it's lovely. Yeah, so I have to process them on the phone, so I'm doing a stream at the moment. So what's the okay, so we've got $50 from the pages. $50 from the pages. So he didn't say that. He is not illegally parked. No, mate, that's a completely legal park. You're mistaken. Absolutely, he's absolutely mistaken. Lovely. I have to remember to process that. Pages, $50. Okay. I've actually got some anonymous, like, roadside donations that I need to process as well. I try and wait till I'm near Wi-Fi. I tell Siri to write them down for me so I don't forget. But I can't do that now because we're streaming. Pages, $50. Pages, $50. Okay, so where was I? I don't know where I was. And so we were talking about how it's a shit show and it is, and then I stepped in dog poop. So today I feel wonderful. I'm delighted, I'm happy, a little bit footsore. I'm still paying a price for the overpacked bag and the walk so far. I think now I'm about 85k out of Brisbane, so I'm away from home. Somebody has said something, what did they say? Unreal, nice to meet you all. I see you guys have a little conversation amongst yourselves there. That's cool. There's lots of good people in the world. Mate, there absolutely is. And here's the thing. So if you're looking at what I'm doing and you're thinking, that's crazy, but I like it. He's trying to leave the world a little bit better. And there's a legacy to it for me. So I'm trying to create a living diary of who I was for my kids. So if I got sick again, they'll always have that to carry with them into the future. But yeah, you know, it's just I want to do something righteous. I want to help. I want to make things better, not just for myself, but for other people. And in doing that, I amplify my own healing. It's like this thing, and I keep saying that kindness is the antidote to suffering. be my honour to walk with you for the next 10 kilometres or the next 2 days or whatever. I'm free-in. So if you've got a pack and you're happy to take your own responsibility for whatever, if it goes, you hurt your foot or something, and I can't go backwards and I can't get in a car, I have to keep moving forward. But I'm in 100%, and I can't tell you how delighted I would be, to be honest. If you've got a superhero name, even the better. Hi Captain, I'm Beer Man, and I'm going to join you for the next 2 days of your big tour. If that happens, mate, Beer Man, I'm in, alright? But anybody who wants to come over and say hello, like the Page family did, please do. I'm delighted. Always, the kindness washes over me, and it just makes me, life, and the world better. I hope you can hear me okay. The wind's coming up again. Now we've got a comment word, and it's about stepping in poo. Got to take the good with the bad, though stepping in poo meant good luck. Does it? Yeah, someone said that to me before. See, now you meant nice people. But the meaning of the nice people is becoming the norm, not the outcome of the poop stepping. Today's some lovely, and again, my heart jumps back to Murray and Donna. So, if you don't know or you didn't see it, on the back of my pics, I was shivering last night. Shivering when the wind made it was the solution. Well, it was full on. And you don't expect that in high summer. And, yeah, I mentioned it in the stream. And this guy, Murray, he lost his mother to cancer not so long ago. And he shows up, he finds me, pulls up with his wonderful wife, Donna, and he's bought this blanket, and it might roll into a country town. They might have a service station or something, a place of business, but it might be shut, and I might be out of water. And they tend, like businesses tend to take the tap heads off so people can't leave their tap on. And I said I would never do that. And if I to tamper with their tap, I'd feel bad. But if I needed access to water in an emergency, I'd do it. Hey, I'm sitting here watching a man. You are out having a go. 90k is far AF. Now I know what AF stands for. I can't say it just in case it's a bit. No, it's reasonable. My goal, I declare to you, I want to walk 40k every day on an average. Sometimes I'll do more than that, sometimes less. Today, I think so far, I'm 25 or something from where I slept. And a lot of stopping and saying hi to lovely people along the way. So, yeah, and I'll boot up and continue pretty soon, I think. I just want to stretch my toes a bit. And, you can easily see the wind wants to claim these boots, mate. These boots are not mine. These are unworthy of them, but they are used by our military. The SAS, these are the boots worn by our SAS troopers, and they are excellent. They are sturdy, they give great support. These will make it all the way down to Melbourne with me. They won't run out of tread. You're going so well, truly inspiring. Thank you so much, Carolyn. I appreciate that. Appreciate you. But yeah, these boots are great. The problem is socks. So if they get a bit soggy and you start to get friction, then you start to be at risk of blisters, and that's a slippery slope. So yeah, that's when I stepped in dog shit. I was walking barefoot for 5k just to kind of mitigate that. But I'll boot up shortly, and then I'll continue down to the Broad Beach. If I meet any lovely people or have any interesting encounters, I'll try my best to comply them. There's some, like I tend to get drawn into discussions with people who, strangely, like they might have a mental health issue or something, so they're sometimes homeless. Like a young guy who's been living on the street for a while, calls me over, we talk about his story. I remember one quite poignantly in Brisbane. He lost his little girl had died, and that had propelled him into just losing 2 years of living on the street. I don't know if I'm supposed to try and film that or not. That to me is a deeply, maybe that's what I'll just ask him. See what that is. I think the big walk is about seeing the country and sharing the people as well. And it's all about hope. And we've got visitors again. I'll wind up the stream right there anyway. Thank you for your interest. Thank you for watching Captain Australia's Big Walk. I've still got a long way to go to Melbourne. So we've got plenty of time to get better with the streams, and I will improve at this conversation. You take care of yourself. Much love. I will update later from Broad Beach or Tweed Heads. Take care of yourselves.
Good evening. Sorry for the closet-like appearance of the video. I am walking along the beach. So this is Captain Australia. Hi. And this is approaching the end of day 3 of Captain Australia's Big Walk. Oh crap, and it's starting to rain. Okay, so this might be a short stream if the rain intensifies because I don't have the protective thing on my phone. Yeah, so I've owed you a stream for a while. I'm sorry I haven't updated sooner. I've been struggling to get through the Broad Beach, the centre of the Gold Coast. It's actually felt a little bit iffy, a little bit sort of... I've been stopped constantly, but some of it hasn't really been completely good-natured, to be honest. Can't hear, can't see. You can't hear me. Let me see if I can do something about that. Can you hear me now? I don't know if you can. It should be working to me. I hope it is. Ping out if you can hear me. I can hear you. Cool. Thank you. So, yeah, sorry, I've been walking all day. I've come today, I'll guesstimate it so far at about that 40k mark. I'm about 10k from the border, I think, or something like it. I don't want to accidentally cross it, actually. I'd like to do it in daytime and, you know, wave a flag around. But yeah, I don't know if you can see the ocean. That's lovely. You can kind of see it behind me. So I kind of wanted to just get away from the people, to be honest. The Gold Coast, it's normally pretty vibrant. You know, it's like Las Vegas for Queensland in a way. Even though we call Brisbane Bris Vegas, the Gold Coast, it's got that sort of carny vibe to it. But yeah, thank you, cool. But yeah,
tonight when I'm walking through, I know I'm doing something weird, I'm like singling myself out, but all through the day there's been this wave of kindness. People stop, hey, yay, good on you, oh, thank you so much. I'll try and, you know, deserve your praise. But yeah, we're inside Broadbeach. There, I don't know, it's a younger crowd, male crowd, people out there looking for trouble, it felt like. Anyway, so I haven't ran away from that exactly, but I'm an old man, it made me feel a bit tired, so I've come down just to be near the ocean, which is lovely and nourishing. And I reckon I'll pitch camp somewhere, if I can find a viable spot, somewhere just before the border, so I can cross it in the morning and then I will be in New South Wales. I'm sorry you can't see me, I've got the light on the thingo. Well, there you go, there's the Gold Coast behind me. That's all the way back up there. It's I was about to say beautiful city lights, someone says beautiful soul. I mean, that's just too kind of you, thank you. I'm really awkward taking compliments, so I'm sorry about that. I want to get better at everything. It's day 3, give me a little bit of time. But yeah, thank you so much for your kindness and your interest. And yeah, so right now, getting towards the New South Wales border. I could use a good sleep with last night getting sort of wrecked by the weather. I've got this great tarp that the lovely fella Murray gave me, along with his mother's blanket. If you didn't hear my earlier stream, I'll give you a quick rundown. This couple, I'd bumped into them previous, like 2 months ago, when I was on the TV show The Project. I did that day that they came out to film me, I did a practice walk to the Gold Coast. I don't need to walk 100k in a day, but I just wanted to see if I could. It's like there's a mountain there, can you climb it? Because I've come so far with my own sort of self-repair, and I just wanted to also, as preparation for the walk, be able to say, you know, look, if I got stuck somewhere and my water got contaminated or something and I needed to just power through, could I? So I gave myself that challenge and I did. I think I did bloody good. So tonight I'll have come all told maybe 120k, but it's 3 days, you know. In that day it was like 22, 23 hours, and I did it. I made the distance, and I even made a little bit of the way back. It was great. But yeah, the whole sorry, walking on sand is a little bit harder than walking on concrete too. Yeah, the whole thing, it's not about that anyway. It's about the adventure of it. It's about the joy of it, finding that. But the self-repair and the healing, I've come a long way already, and I want to get good at everything else. You know, now that my health is sort of back on track, I've lost 50 kilos. I know I still look a bit sloppy, but you know, we'll get there. But yeah, there are other things that I need to repair in this big walk. So now I'm not going to go on about pediatric cancer or whatever. Walking along the ocean, I'm going to reflect on me. Who am I and why am I doing this, and how can that possibly, you know, help somebody else? And it's about prioritizing your own healing. And I think people can be broken and not even know it. Like I gave 4 years of my life to death, to a slow decline into just like existential despair. And you know, so in the terms of the things I want to heal, my massive gut was the least of it. My sense of hope, that's already going strong, that's great. But there's other elements where I've been marked by my life or my experiences with cancer, where I'd like to navigate to, I don't know, leveling up, you know? Like the whole, you know, the Buddhist stories, Confucius stories, and it's like somebody achieves enlightenment. I'm probably not capable or worthy of enlightenment, but I'd like to refine myself ethically, and, you know, in selfish areas too, like how well I experience joy, how joyful I am. Oh, sorry, I'm not looking at the comments, and someone's answering for me. Thank you so much. I'll get better. I'll try. I'll do a stream at some point where it's a proper conversation, and I'm more diligently watching your remarks, answering your questions, and just talking about, I don't know, funny stuff, insights, wherever it goes. But yeah, as I'm walking, I'm doing a poor job of that, so I apologise for that. Well done, lovely to meet you, mate. Actually, in the dark like this, it's much easier to read the comments, you know. Yeah, so, you know, affecting, let's say, you know, you work on your muscles in your body. Why? To make them stronger, to look better to other people, I suppose. So I want to work on some other muscles that I have as well. And I mean, just for the sake, without trying to sound stupid, but let's call joy and the ability to feel joy a muscle. So I want to work on that. So good to see you in high spirits after such a big day, mate. Your positivity is contagious. I'm delighted by that. I genuinely believe that kindness, optimism, all of that stuff, they're like a connectedness, a circle that we can create together, and it just comes around and it makes the world better. And that's very positive stuff. But I do believe that the dark stuff works that way as well. Hate, selfishness, bigotry, you know, the paranoia, fear, and a lot of that stuff has become woven into our daily lives too. And it's insidious, like cancer. It spreads through the narrative of your life, and it subtly changes it. And you don't even necessarily realize it's happened. And that's the problem with insidious change. For the better or the worse, it creeps on you, up on you. So you either can't celebrate it if it's good stuff, but that's not the end of the world. Or if it's bad stuff, you don't notice until it's a pretty deep problem, like with my post-cancer issues. But yeah, I mean, the ability to feel joy, I'd like to refine that to a level where, like, I mean, when I was in my cancer pit, I saw nothing. You know, to contrast that, now when I walk down the street and I see a tree moving a certain way in the wind and the ripple of the leaves, it's beautiful, like really beautiful to me. And that gives this little burst of joyfulness in me. And what I want to do is improve that muscle, so I don't just have that fleeting moment of joyfulness, but I can wind it into my life in such a way that I can better give it to my kids. Because I'm screwing up as a dad, even now that I'm better. And when I get back from my big walk, I want to do, that's one of my biggest priorities in my life, to become like mega dad, super uber dad. Because, like, I don't know, I'm a good dad, I really am. But I've got this sense that, I don't know, I can help my children be mega people. I don't know, I'm just going to sound mental, you know, but I can do a better job. I can really better guide them. And a kid needs to fall out of a tree and have fun and play games and all of that stuff. I don't know, ramble. But my ability to feel joy and share it will directly impact my ability as a parent. So that's one of the things I'm looking for in this long and winding walk. It's just getting into tune with the natural world. You know, there's religious stuff in there too, like the idea of a creator. I don't know any of that stuff, I really don't. If you do, good on you. I think faith is something that we must all diligently try to respect in other people. Because you don't know what it's about. I don't know what it's about. The people who say definitively that they know what it's about are dangerous, because, you know, you can take it to its extreme and say objective reality is you know, a question mark. So the meaning of life is a mystery that it unites us all. We all share it. And approaching that other people have beliefs, instead of going to war about it, we should, you know, celebrate it and learn about it and whatnot. And that's part of what I'm walking to try and refine what I believe. That doesn't necessarily relate to a creator or the meaning of life, but it might be about what matters to me. So this guy who's been in and out of prison, when I was having my leg cramps on day one, he jumps the fence and he starts massaging my leg like he's my nana. He's looking after me. He's such a sweet man. But he's big, got tattoos. Most people would find him to be quite an intimidating guy. And we had a long talk. He's been in and out of prison. His life is broken, and we talked about how you can repair a broken life. And he talked about how he wanted to find God. And so we talked about some pretty heavy stuff, to be honest. But for me, he asked me at one point, what do you want from your life? And I I didn't know, because it's always been about my kids. I want to heal my children. I want them to be strong. I want them, any pain that they have, to be, you know, absolved and rubbed away. I'd bear it for them if I could. I want them to learn and be happy and healthy and all that. And you know, when your answer about what you want is about someone else, that's a warning sign. So why did I want to survive cancer? Because I didn't want to subject my kids. Oh crap, a daily don't dare of doom. Oh, sorry, you're explaining it. I love that you guys are having a conversation where you're explaining. Thank you so much. I am so bad at this social... Sorry, I will finish my point. Somebody said, you've got to finish your point, Simon. Because I'm an old fool and I lose it. So, yeah, the idea, when you wrap your reasons up in someone else, even someone as important as your children, it's a red flag. Because we can't be good parents if we aren't joyful in ourselves, you know? We can't be good citizens if we haven't built our ethics to a level that we're, you know, unbigoted, but smart, kind, prudent, all of the things that you would think would help us all to get along better and solve our problems more easily. But when your answer's about someone else, and even though it's, you know, that it is important and it is a reason to stay alive, you know, that was my reason for surviving cancer, for my kids, and I love them. I miss them some of the fears, but that's not a reason to be alive. I mean, it is, but it's not a joyful, optimistic, positive reason that relates to you. So for me, when he said, what do you want? I thought about that, and I realized my reasons for living, for pursuing something, are all for other people. And that's not necessarily a noble thing. It could be to satisfy a societal expectation, you know, that I earn money, or that I, you know, so it's not all like, oh, purity, look at that, he lives for other people. But it's all based on the expectations of other people, what will happen to other people if I die, that sort of thing. So I thought about it, and it took me a long time to come up with an answer, and my answer is so stupid. Like, I mean, it's not, and I hesitate to say it, but it's so important to me in this stuff, that the conversation we're having, and I'm sorry your comments are flitting past, but the conversation that we're having, it's so important to me that I talk true. If I don't do anything else right, I can do that, you know what I mean? So, good, bad, or indifferent, it's honest. And yeah, my answer, I'm a bit shy about it, but it was to be beautiful. What do you want, Simon? He said, and that's what I came up with. And it's, you know, it just sounds like something a child might say, but I think I do. Like, and I don't mean beautiful like look at my rock hard abs. I mean beautiful like, you know, that's what life is. That I daily aspire to share profundity and beauty, and to, like, you know, if my child is sad, to like shake them and show them a sunrise or something, you know. So to respond to problems with a mindset that is oriented towards life being precious and beautiful. You know what I mean? And I think when I come out of the end of this big walk, like, you know, there's the idea that suffering can harden you. I want to be stronger, but there's also just the idea that stripping it all back, all the way back, and just walking. I mean, I'm here on a beach at night, and honestly, I'm sorry, it is so, and forgive my swearing, it's just so fucking gorgeous. And I feel so delighted. And usually that sort of euphoria is a sign that you've lost your shit, that you're mentally ill or something. But I mean, I have gone from outright despair to a new plateau. And I think it is a sustained plateau of just a bit above equilibrium. So I'm consistently reasonably happy, and I'm trying to amplify that. So you might say that's unrealistic. You know, happiness is a swing and a roundabout. It goes up and down. And I'm like, yeah, okay, but hey, screw you, I'm going to go aim for it anyway. So that's one of the outcomes I'm looking for from the big walk. It's to make myself and the way that I live my life somehow beautiful. And I'm little shy about that, to be honest. But anyway, so that's who I am, that's where I'm at, and physically, literally where I'm at is walking down the lonely old beach. And it is so lovely, the breeze, the ocean. And part of what another thing that I want to do is anything that I achieve, just in case it's great, I want to give it to you. You know, and it's got nothing to do with the charity. It's got nothing to do with my own healing, and it's not a pride thing like oh, look at me, I achieved enlightenment, now you can do it too. It's not like a self-help guru thing or something, but it's just the idea of somebody grappling with a problem like grief or loneliness or despair. I've found this sense that if I can reach out and even in a little way touch that, influence it, it is so profoundly fulfilling. It is so, and again, it's the thing, I'm always saying it, and you know, it's like, I think the Dalai Lama says it all the time, compassion, kindness is the antidote to suffering. So I think I come from trauma, and it's a childhood of trauma, and I think trauma can either go one of two ways. It can harden you and make you incapable of feeling, and I think as a child, or a teenager at least, I had a very hard exterior. I was isolated because of that, but it can also go the other way. It can unlock a dimension of empathy that might not be accessible to people who haven't gone through the same trauma. So yeah, that's another part of what I hope to achieve from the big walk. The idea that, like, I've met all these lovely people, and I guess who doesn't know someone who's touched by cancer? You know, it's such a ugly disease, such a harrowing disease. Yeah, when I was a teenager, I watched my grandmother die, and you know, I adored that woman, and that was my first taste of grief. But you know, the idea then that if I do have a quality of empathy that's worthwhile and something that I can refine, then I can get good at using it, and maybe I can share it. And it's got nothing to do with me, my own, it does have to do with my own healing insofar as I do think it amplifies it, but it's just about learning, I think, who I am and what makes me feel fulfilled. And I do find that helping people, like trying to share, does that. And I'm self-conscious as all hell. I go on these old man rambles, and but you're also wonderful and kind, and your feedback is so consistently positive that I'll keep going. And yeah, I don't know what it all looks like when I finish the walk, but when I'm doing the walk, it just might be this moment in time where I can help some people. You know, and I think in all of my practice stuff, it's already happened in at least a few small cases. There's this lovely dude, young guy, he had cancer as a child in Brisbane. We started chatting with him, and it wasn't exactly counselling because I don't want to do that, and I'm not competent to do that, but I can be his friend. So he's a young guy, he's like 24 now, I think. He's of African descent, I think. Lovely guy. And he's been dealing with chronic depression and existential crisis after overcoming cancer as a child. And I think I helped him along. So he went from consistently having suicidal ideation to feeling like, before I left, he texted me and he gives me these little updates what he's been up to, and he said, oh yeah, you know, I've taken up, I can't remember if it was cricket or baseball, but he's out there doing these activities that were just outside of any sort of possibility before. And I have to tell you, I love that. I adore that. That makes, you see, I don't know why I'm alive or what it's for, but I know if I can help, like, substantially that kid, my life is worthwhile. That's it. I don't have to stress out about it, you know? I can just try and be happy, move forward. I don't have to constantly, because I have spent my life fruitlessly wondering about what to do and what it's all about. And I'm realizing I just don't need to. Pursue your happiness, I'll pursue mine, and let's share it, I think, is all I need to worry about. Anyway, old man ramble again. What are you doing, Simon? let's look at a comment. There's a comment. Good stuff. Keep being you and starving. That's an old man. Nope. Sharing. You may never know who you touch just by being you. Yeah, well, that's what I'm starting to learn. But the key is being, you know, true. You know, if being you and you don't know exactly who you are, you know, it sort of contaminates it. It still can be wonderful and helpful, but it's the truth of the day as opposed to an innate truth, if that makes sense. So I guess part of what I'm hoping to do, as naive as it might be, is dig at the innate truths of my life while I'm doing this. And for me, that's I guess a form of therapy. And I guess I'm offering it up. I'm serving it up to see if that's helpful to anybody. And if it is, that delights me. Outright delight is the only word for it, you know? So yeah, I'm alone. There's a breeze. It's a bit chilly, but I find it refreshing. And I feel absolutely lovely, like wonderful. I've been walking all day. And I think when I call it, I'll have come about 50 probably. So I'm going to walk for another, at least an hour and a half, just to the edge of the border. So I'll cross the border tomorrow morning, and then I'll be in New South Wales, and I'll be out in the world. And I don't know, if you're a fantasy nerd like me, I've read Lord of the Rings every couple of years since I was a child. Again, that's probably a trauma thing, you know, you go hide in the closet and read. You lose yourself in another world. But yeah, there's this part of the story and the movie where this lovely character, Samwise, he's this helper, and he's brave, he's valiant in his own way. He's very simple and pure. He's like every man, I suppose. And that's every person. You know, sorry about any of that stuff if I get it wrong. But yeah, they're leaving the Shire, and he's going. He doesn't really want to, but he's going to help his friend and his boss, Frodo. And they reach a point where, and he stops and he says, you know, this is the furthest away that I've ever been. You know, and it was the start of a great journey that changed his life. And I guess I feel a little bit like that. You know, passing into New South Wales, I've been further than New South Wales. You know, I've been overseas, I've travelled, but I haven't been away from my family like this before. And I haven't really walked anywhere dressed as a superhero. You know, that's a this year thing. You know, it feels momentous to me. So when I crossed the New South Wales border, I had hoped to do it this time yesterday, but all that to one side, that's not really important, the when of it, but the gravity of it. Sorry, my arm was getting lazy, and you can't even see anything, can you? You're like looking at the sky. I really apologise. But yeah, tomorrow morning I'll cross the border. Is that Samwise for the win? Yeah. Hey, I don't know. It's interesting. That's like a personality test, isn't it? Like, are you a cat person or a dog person? Which Lord of the Rings character are you? Now, of course, I'd like to say I am Aragorn, son of Arathorn. I'm brave. I'm compassionate. You know, I want to save people. But I think I might be more like Sam. You know, just want to muddle through and do the right thing. We're with you every step of the way. Thank you. Look, I don't know, I don't have the words, I lose the words. I'm blessed and grateful for your companionship on this walk. But yeah, I probably want to check my map and figure out how far away I am from the border, because I don't want to accidentally cross it. That'd be like, you know, you can't accidentally lose your virginity, but it's an act that once you've done it, you can't undo it, you know what I mean? And crossing the border will be like that as well. So I'll get up in the morning and I'll set the camera up, and I'll do a live stream when I cross into New South Wales. And when I approach, I think I'll start to find my stride now. I'll get better at the sharing. So when I come to a town, a community that might have a story that we could talk about, people that we could meet, I'll try and do a better job of sharing some of the country and the experience and the people with you. I don't know if this, for me, Donna and Murray today, it was a profoundly moving moment. I don't know if I did a good job streaming it or not. If you want to have a look, if you haven't seen it and you want to have a look, let me know. I do want to do a good job in just making sure that I share it. the fundamental, the reason I'm so stressed out is it is for largely like my children, you know, just so that I can completely show them who I was. No, and not the morbid sense that if cancer kills me, but in general, like to their grandchildren even. There's like a, I don't know, there's a scrapbook essence to it, I guess. Captain Australia, I can't wait to see your post. You're very inspirational. Thank you, John. I will not forget the day that we met. John is a chap who lives in my home community. So I feel, chatting with you now, my friend, that that somehow a little piece of me is still at home and connected. So thank you, buddy. But yeah, I'll let it go now. I'll check my maps and I'll pitch a camp. I'll send you a photo so you can see what the camp looks like. But I got Murray's mother's blanket on. That's going to be warm and lovely. And yeah, thank you so much for your kindness. And I just can't tell you how grateful I am for it. All the best, and have a lovely evening wherever you are. And if you, like me, have a part of your life that feels broken, let's talk again, you know, because I think hope is there for all of us, but it can be a bit of a puzzle how to individually navigate through it. And you know, maybe I can help. Anyway, I'd love to try. So all the best, take care of yourselves, and I'm sorry if I'm missing comments and whatnot. I will try and catch up, so take care of yourselves. I'll sign out now. Bye. G'day, Simon again, very briefly. I'm just going to give you a quick look at my rough camp setup, because I've had to just toddle over and set it up really quickly, because my instincts might be wrong, but I think they're right. There's going to be some unpleasant weather again tonight, and I don't have a plan B this time, so I just thought I'd give you a quick look. Whoops, what have I done? There, okay. Spin her around. So I've got this tarp overall, which is attached to the carabiners there and tethered at the bottom, and the carabiner there and tied at the bottom. Underneath the tarp you can see is my gear, and underneath that is my hammock, and that is Murray's mum's blanket that I got there as well. So assuming I can resist the water, I should be able to stay sort of lovely and warm and comfortable. Now I'm going to turn the light off though, because I can get in trouble for setting up here, I think, and I don't want that. So yeah, just a short stream to give you a quick sense of where I am, where I'm sleeping, and I think there's a big ocean storm about to roll in, so I'm just going to get in, get comfy, and I'm going to eat my Coles Chook. Yum, yum, yum. All right, take care of yourselves, everybody. Bye.